Although we do have that unwanted guest fine dust at times, spring has arrived. Temperatures here in Korea are now hovering in the teens during the peak of the day. And this means lighter clothes, more outdoor activities, and more traveling, either with family, friends, or alone. Today, we invite a tourism expert, Darryl Bilbao, a former PR global manager at the Seoul Tourism Organization, into the studio to have a chat on traveling in Seoul, maybe even alone. So welcome, Darryl.
Hello, Darryl.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
So Darryl, we've met before at Arirang, but
Yes.
it's your first time here on this show. So why don't we start with a brief introduction of yourself to the Culture Wave viewers?
Yeah, so hi everyone. My name is Darryl Bilbao. I've been in Korea for about 19 years. I was previously working for the Seoul Tourism Organization, as she mentioned, in the tourism industry, and taking care of digital kind of content and content marketing and stuff. And I wanted a little break from life, I guess, so I called it quits late last year, and I went home to see my family and took a little time traveling and stuff over in Europe for like 2 short weeks, and I came back. And I've been trying to find a new path forward. And one of the paths I've been actually kind of looking into is trying to connect with creators and influencers in Korea to help them better promote the city. So I want to try and continue my path in terms of kind of promoting Seoul tourism and some of the places that are worth visiting and stuff while people are here. So I'm looking forward to I don't know what's waiting ahead, but I'm looking forward to the adventure. So.
Sounds like a very interesting journey ahead. Now, Darryl, as I mentioned before, it's a perfect time to talk about travel and tourism. Not only has the weather gotten warmer, but the tourism figures actually look good. Now, here, especially in the capital Seoul, the number of foreign tourists climbed to 12 million, past 12 million last year, and that's almost to pre-pandemic levels. In fact, in 2019, it was at around almost 12.5 million.
Right.
So why are we seeing this surge again?
I think there's a lot of efforts being made on all cylinders. Back at the Seoul Tourism Organization, for example, one of the big things I had last year was trying to put up the Seoul Moon, the Seoul Thai. So everyone goes up in a balloon and they can see like an aerial view of the city and stuff. So trying to create those mainstream attractions like that. Another thing has been, just random stuff like with the coming of this spring, promoting like family-oriented activities like camping and whatever. Also, I got connected late last year. I got connected with the Junggu district, and they're also working on a program. It's like a content building program. So within the Junggu district, there's all these different neighborhoods and stuff. So they try to create a course where you can kind of explore the different kind of like hidden kind of old school traditional shops and stuff while you're kind of visiting Seoul. So I helped them promote that a little bit. So there's a lot of efforts being made in that direction. But I think one of the biggest things just might be, besides K-pop and the Hallyu movement, is all the supporter programs that they have. So for example, last year when I actually kind of met you and stuff, I'm not sure if we talked about that time, but at STO, for example, we have one of the oldest influencer or creator programs called GSM, or Global Soulmate. So we connect with all these different non-Korean, foreign creators or influencers, and they help us promote the city of Seoul. And now, over the last few years, it's been just a whole stream of all these different influencer creator programs, supporter programs, that have been popping up everywhere in the public and the private sector. And so, for example, at the Seoul City Hall, they have like the Seoul Lighters, I think it is. Ours is the Global Soulmate. At KTO, I think it's Adventure Korea, Wow Korea. I think there's one more at the Gyeonggi Province offices. They have, I think it's Oh My Gyeonggi or something. So that's like the start of it. And it's even moved, that trend of all these influencer groups and programs has moved into the private sector. So everyone is really investing themselves into finding a way to micro-market, the city of Seoul. And I think that micro-market, micro-targeting has had such a huge influence in the long run over the last few years that now people are able to really understand what Seoul is, what it has to offer, and they're coming in droves in much higher numbers.
So I guess it is efforts on the government level, the public level, and also individuals like these creators who are all, pushing for another boost in the tourism industry, I guess.
Exactly.
Well, Darryl, You know what makes Seoul so attractive. Someone knows what makes Seoul so attractive. I know what makes Seoul so attractive. But to the people who may not have visited Seoul, what could you tell them that makes Seoul so attractive?
I don't know. I have such a heavy bias because I've been here for so long. And you mentioned the Ajay word before, old uncle, whatever. I'm one of those people. So with me, it's all about the local side of Seoul, the hidden spots, the back streets, getting to know the local people, the local foods, going to where the locals go in the morning before work, at night after work. So, I mean, off the top of my head is, Seoul, especially when we promoted the city of Seoul officially, one of the first things we'll say is, oh, Seoul is it's a combination of the old and new, tradition and modern. So that's like a very big kind of like charming point, alluring point of the city for those that have not been here, because you can catch in a single frame, in a single picture, in all these different layers of the city, you can see old and new just fused together. So I think that kind of, I guess, kind of charming point is there. It's also home to K-culture, obviously. And also in Seoul, in Seoul, something's always trending, whether it's like, foods or maybe something that people saw in like a music video or a drama and now they want to come and try it. So there's that kind of desire to kind of have that K experience. So I think that is a very good kind of selling point, I guess, in a way, to kind of help promote the city. But also, I think when you look at the motto of the city, it went from, I think, My Soul, Soul to Soul, My Soul, I think it is now. So when you think about what the term soul is, it's just like, the essence of our being. There's no beautification, there's no, makeup, or it's like no whatever. It just is. And I think that's what Seoul's biggest kind of charming point or alluring point is that, if you come here without expectations, without what you saw in the K-pop dramas or K-pop music video, whatever, you just come here and just embrace the city as it is, you can really see how much there is to offer, how much there is to kind of explore and enjoy during your stay here. So coming here with an open mind, I think, is amazing.
I can see why you were the PR manager for the Seoul Tourism Organization. That was a very, very good answer. But being the PR manager of the Seoul Tourism Organization, you must have obviously communicated with numerous foreigners around the world.
Right.
Do you remember some memorable things that they had said about their trip while visiting Seoul?
Right. So because this is kind of funny. So because now I can actually speak freely, right?
Yeah.
So, I think we were like an official channel of the government. So a lot of the interaction that I had with other travelers, non-Korean travelers, tourists, or even just people staying here, was when they had inquiries or when they had a complaint. Anything positive, we didn't really hear much about. But I would be constantly kind of like deal with those kind of inquiries and that kind of information and stuff coming in quite often. And I think there's not one specific time, but there were a few times I distinctly remember whenever we're doing a campaign especially, and we're trying to like broadly market a certain content, we get a lot of, people commenting and all that stuff. So they would comment and then they send a DM with like the same information. And apparently it's a little bit kind of, it doesn't come to me as clearly as it should, but there was like this one, I don't remember what the gender of the person was, but I'll call it a guy. This guy had a bad experience while here, might have gotten overcharged for something, or maybe someone might have been rude, or it was just a series of events that happened. And he commented negatively on the content, and then he sent the same stuff through DM, like, why can't you do anything about it, you and your country? I'm like, well, I'm actually technically not Korean, but still, but they don't know that. So I think when it comes to that stuff, and especially that particular moment, from our perspective, we just had to shut up and listen. We had to just be quiet and just kind of take in what their experience was and learn from it. Because I think Seoul, it's a great example of a exemplary kind of take on what a global city should be, tourism city should be. But there are a few points, a few areas that maybe could be a little bit improved upon and better. And maybe some of it is just based on miscommunication. And some of it might be, maybe someone was having a bad day also. But when it comes to those things, it's just important to be quiet and listen to what the person has to say. So about like 15, 20 minutes, I just kind of sat there and just took it all in. And then at the end of it, I tried to give some examples of, if you come again, if you want to come to, Seoul again, this is what maybe you can do to help kind of better the situation, kind of rectify it a little bit. This is how maybe you can communicate. And after that exchange at the end, just nothing but thank you and I'll be sure to contact you again if I need any more help and stuff. So there were a few specific examples of that, and I was really proud to be a part of STO and kind of represent, the city of Seoul and the country of Korea almost in a way, to show that, we do have an open mind and we want you to have good experience. So those things really stuck with me.
Well, there's always room for improvement,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's good to have that feedback, even if it is not always positive.
Right,
But Darryl, let's talk a little bit about this trend of traveling alone,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
means Honhaeng in Korean.
Yeah.
And actually, TripAdvisor, a travel platform very famous, has actually ranked Seoul as the #1 city to travel solo. So do you agree with this?
I totally agree. I mean, I think, especially being here for so long and being a guy, obviously, with just no holds barred, nothing holding me back. I really do agree with it. In fact, last year we ran a campaign on it with, and we're here on the Kulture Wave, so it's good to mention aespa. Giselle from aespa actually helped lead the campaign. If you want to go look at it, go to Visit Seoul on YouTube, and you can maybe find her last year's content, maybe on June, I think it was. So she came on, and we collaborated to present some kind of like going through Seoul solo as a woman, which I think, as a female traveler, which I think is big, because there's a different experience. Depending on what gender you are, it's going to be a different experience. Especially for a woman, it maybe can be dangerous and stuff. But we want to show that Seoul is actually a safe city, even for women as well. And that's one very successful kind of result we had from the campaign, is that message really got out there. So I was really proud to be a part of that as well. So I think safety, I think, is definitely a big reason. And also just in general, on the lighter side of things, just the transportation infrastructure. It's so easy just by yourself. I mean, if you have the right application with you, you take the subway, you take the train, take the bus, KTX and stuff. Like even the promotion for KTX now, it's on like several languages. I mean, it's so easy to just get around, and even the Seoul subway, it connects not even like Seoul, like within Seoul, but out the greater Seoul, even to Incheon and stuff. You can go to the mountainside. Everything is just so interconnected. So I think that's what makes, and it's very accessible. So I think that's what makes it such a great city to travel solo.
And last but not least, Darryl, we probably have another time to talk deeper about some travel spots. But do you have some recommendations for people to travel in Seoul alone this spring season?
Okay, so whenever we're talking about spring season, I guess cherry blossoms is like the first thing we got to bring up. So if there were like 3 categories I could choose from, it would be seeing cherry blossoms, going to like backstreet alley to see some like a food or cafe tour, and then do like a forest bathing experience kind of thing. So I guess the first one would be something going to see the cherry blossoms at a less crowded spot. It's in the Yeonnam-dong area, kind of outside Hongdae Station exit 3. And then for like a backstreet cafe or food area, I think maybe going to the Huamdong area. But there's a specific street I want to mention, but I'm not sure if our viewers will understand exactly where it is. So if you're curious about where the exact location is, leave a comment on the video, and I will try and find it, and I will give you a response to let you know the exact location. So also for the forest bathing area, it's just a stroll through the woods, stroll through nature. It would be called, I think, the Dongjak Chungyeokil, which is located in this, just south of the river, but it has like 7 different courses and stuff, and there's lots to kind of see, and it's not very difficult hike. It's very beautiful to watch.
So a little bit of everything, and I'm sure we're going to talk about more detail later on sometime. And for now, thank you very much, Darryl, for your insights.
Thanks so much for having me, guys. It was great.
And thank you, Walter. As always, we're going to talk to you again. See you again tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow.